Welcome. My name is Sarge, and this is my first video on this channel. So, if you are new to the channel, which you probably are, considering this the first video, let me introduce myself. My name is, like I said, Sarge. I have over 20 years of experience in security. Sorry for the quality of the video. I'm shooting with my cell phone because my camera's out right now. But so what kind of things are you guys looking for? Let me know in the comments below so that I know what questions to answer over this channel. A few of the things that I would like to talk about today is what to expect from your first day on the job. Well, normally what would happen is you would have orientation where you're going to fill out some paperwork, and then you would basically meet your supervisors and stuff like that, and then get your on-the-job training. With North Carolina, depending on if you're going to be an armed guard or if you're going to be a regular officer, you're going to have to go through several days of training, actually. The first couple of days is going to be your company's policies and procedures, and the next day is going to be state requirements, like state statutes and stuff like that protects you. And then the last day of the job is going to be you taking a test so that you can get certified by the state and get your state license. If you're going to be an armed guard, then it's going to be basically you going to the range and shooting after you take a weapons class, and they're going to teach you basically the do's and don'ts of weapons safety and stuff like that. Security is one of the most easiest fields to get into. It's also one of the easiest fields to get fired from. Depending on what type of security you're going to be doing, kind of depends on how secure your job is. If you're contract security, meaning you work for a security firm and they got a contract with another company, that all depends, because like I'm in this boat right now where the company I work for actually just lost their contract, so come 31st of this month I am out of a job. So I have a couple of choices. I can go with the new company that took over the contract, which I'm not going to do, or I can find a job with another firm, which I probably will later on, depending on what I find out there. Now, if you are private security is basically a security department within a company. Your job's pretty secure. I mean, unless you do something really stupid to be fired, your job is secure. The other one is private security, but it's personnel, meaning you are guarding a person. That is usually short term, unless the person is very rich and likes you and wants to take you on as his personal bodyguard. Then you have a future. But for the most part, those contracts are usually very short-lived. Now, there are other security types, but that's the majority of what you're going to find. course, the most popular security firms that have contracts. Now, that's what I'm going to be going over. And basically what that is basically like, okay, you work for a security firm. They have a contract with a business, and that business is hiring you as a contractor to do certain things. Like, I mean, number one thing is to secure something, like the building or containers or something. For the most part, those are actually pretty lucrative jobs if you can find a good contract. Now, here in North Carolina, good luck. Most jobs that are unarmed pay around $14 an hour. That's about the best I made unarmed. Once I got my armed license, I made $21 an hour starting pay, and then it went up to $28 an hour when I became a sergeant. Now, there are companies out here that are willing to pay, but it depends on the contract. So if you're doing security at like a nuclear power plant, let's say, you will make more. If you do it at an oil rig, you will make more. But with those also come certain security clearances and extra requirements and stuff like that. So usually the case is the more you have, the more qualifications you have to get the job, usually the more to pay. Now let's talk about responsibilities. For the most part, a general contract is you checking locks, the doors and stuff like that, walking around, checking parking lots, checking vehicles, making sure vehicles are locked, making sure, secured areas stay secure. You may be required to walk up flights of stairs. If you're in a high-rise building, you may not be able to use the elevator because some places prohibit it. I don't know why, but they do. So if you're in a high-rise building, you may be responsible for a certain amount of floors. So you may have like 5 floors you're in charge of. You may be in charge of 10, and you might have to use the stairs. So be prepared for that. Another thing is you may have to walk all night long. You may be standing for long periods of time. You could be sitting for long periods of time as well. I mean, it depends on the contract. So whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, whatever, it is, usually written pretty point blank in the contract what you're going to be doing. Most security, my first probably 10 years of doing security, what it consisted of was me sitting behind a desk in a lobby somewhere, swiping people in. Like when they come in to the door, I let them in. Or when they go to leave, I have to let them out. It might be checking their security badge, their clearance. They may need to get into a certain area and I have to clear them. It could be answering phones and being because I have had to be a dispatch. I've also had to work in the call center, different things like that. Like if you work at a place that does a lot of shipping, you might be working with the shipping department, checking trailers and checking trucks in and out. I mean, you could be checking, pressures in tanks and stuff like that, like boilers and stuff like that. I mean, the tasks are unlimited. I mean, you could be doing anything. And basically the best way to address that is to refer to your contract. If your contract says anything else that management considers, then you will be doing a lot of things you don't think security should be doing. And there's been a lot of times I've been going, why am I doing this? I'm security. And it's in the contract. So your firm will agree to whatever that it takes to get the contract. The only thing is, you've got to have the go-to to be able to go and say, hey, well, if you want me to do this, this, and this, you need to pay me this. And sometimes that is a no-go. And you end up talking yourself right out of a job. So just be careful of that. Also, if you are working for a place that is a large security firm, I would not try that tactic, because you're just a number. They don't care about you, and you are easily replaced. That's how they look at it. So if you're not willing to do what they want for what they're offering, they just won't select you. And if you've been there for a minute and you think you're entitled, guess what? You're not. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you have a job driving, generally the rule of thumb is this. Number one, do not eat or drink in the vehicle. That means no water, no juice, nothing. No potato chips, nothing. Because trust me, if they find one crumb in that truck, they're going to be headhunting and trying to find out who's been eating in the truck. The reason is ants. North Carolina has been taken over by fire ants. And if you ever walked the beat on grass, you've ran into these little jokers. And trust me, they can make your route a living hell. And if you're in a vehicle with a bunch of fire ants, guess what? That ain't fun either. The other thing, they do not want you listening to the radio. Now, the reason is, think about it. You're supposed to be sitting there watching the outside of a building or a fence line or something, and you're sitting there bebopping to the radio. How does that look to the client? That client is not happy with you bebopping on the radio. My advice to you would be to maintain a professional attitude at all times, including while you're in the vehicle. Now, when you're in the lobby or wherever you're sitting at a desk, you 9 times out of 10 you will have a computer in front of you. Do not get on that computer and get on the internet and start, looking up stuff. Don't get on your Facebook. Don't get on any of that. Stay professional. Because trust me, they got trackers on those computers. They know exactly what you're looking at. Another thing, phone. Don't be getting on that phone and calling your boo, trying to find out what he's up to or she's up to and what she's doing at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because guess what? That's another no-no. They track that too. Another thing I've noticed is a lot of people bring in puzzle books, stuff like that. Don't do that, because they're watching you on the camera. And if you're sitting there doing a puzzle book or playing with something and not paying attention to what you're supposed to be paying attention to, guess what? They're going to know it. So if they forbid something, they have a way of tracking it. So just remember that. Another thing, very important thing, hygiene. I can't stress it enough. If you are somebody that has a strong body odor, make sure you use extra strength deodorant and wash, because the last thing the client wants is for you to go in there stinking to high hell. Your co-workers will not appreciate it either. Now, another thing is facial hair. If you have a beard, Make sure it is groomed. It is neat. And it doesn't look like you just ate tuna in a pie eating contest. Okay? Your hair needs to be combed and cut and kept neat. Needs to be able to fit underneath the hat and still look professional. If you have jewelry, it needs to be underneath your shirt or left in your car. You don't want to go in there looking like Mr. T. There's no need. Okay? Now, the other thing they look at is your uniform. If you go in there and you look like that you put your uniform underneath your mattress to press it, then they're probably going to send you home. Your uniform needs to be pressed with creases and neat, and clean, no stains. So, just be mindful that if you don't have a neat appearance, you probably won't be going to work that day. It will probably send you home. I have seen more people get fired for having dirty uniforms than anything else. Another thing, when you have a dirty uniform, it messes with your confidence. You don't feel as confident, and you don't do your job as well because you feel like, you're trashy. All right. One of the most major things that you can do is have a good professional attitude. Now, attitude is 90% of your job. Believe it or not. Customer service, 90% of your job. If you can talk to people and get them motivated to do what you need them to do without raising your voice and getting aggressive, guess what? You got the job nipped. That's your job. So instead of going to somebody and saying, hey man, you need to effing leave, instead say, hey Bo, what you doing here? Why are you here? You need to vacate the premises. You're trespassing. And don't argue with them. If they don't want to leave, guess what? You just say, okay, well, stay right there. I'll have the cops come over and escort you out. 9 times out of 10, that works. I mean, it sounds simple, but I mean, it's true. You start threatening to call the cops, 9 times out of 10, they leave. Now, I've had people sit there and go, well, call the effing cops. Okay. I just call cops. I mean, it's simple. I mean, no skin off my nose. I'm not going to, get rough and tough with you. But, yeah, just like I said, just keep a professional attitude at all times. Even if you got somebody yelling and screaming in your face. You just stand there. And I'm not telling you to take it. If he's in your face, take a step back. If he continues to come, keep taking steps back. Tell him, look, man, you need to back up. And if you got a radio, go ahead and radio for backup. Because that situation there can escalate to be a bad one. I've had it happen a couple of times. Now, like I said, depending on what company you work for, depends on what kind of situations you're going to find yourself in, and also your demographic matters too. If you're in some place like Detroit, Chicago, New York, something like that, where people are just plain stupid, you got people that just act stupid. Not saying they're all stupid, just they who I'm talking about, criminals, the ones that just can't seem like get it right. Yeah, if you're going to be dealing with these kind of people, then I would have backup on ready. And if you're by yourself, find another contract. If you're in a dangerous area, never work alone. I don't care if your company says that you have Fuck, I almost died. God, thank you for. Woo! That truck came out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys just saw that. You probably saw the truck in my rearview mirror. But it's really, really foggy right now. And, I come around a curve, and there was a truck that was stopped in the middle of the road with his caution lights on. I thought he was on the side of the road because there's no lines in the middle of the road, you know. Oh my God. My life just flashed before my eyes, guys. I am sorry for the cussing. Wow. You almost just saw me die. I almost ran right into the back of that dang semi truck, and there was a car behind me that almost ran into the back of me. Whew. Lord, thank you for saving my life. Thank you for giving me the quick reflexes. And Nissan, thank you for giving for the safety features of this vehicle. Whew. Yeah, guys, that's all I got for you. I'm sorry. I'm a nervous wreck right now. I will catch you guys later. Thank you. Bye.